Hello friends, I am Pradeep. Today I will be discussing about Agile product backlog refinement or grooming session. So, what is product backlog? Product backlog is a list of all the requirements or the customer expectations yet to be built into the product. Now, what is the aim of the product backlog refinement or grooming session? Over the period of time in a product development, there is a huge list of the requirements is inculcated into the product backlog. And in Agile sprints, product owner has to make sure that high priority and high value user stories or the backlog items has to be selected for the upcoming sprints. So it is a necessity of the situation to always keep this product backlog updated, and that's where the backlog grooming or refinement session comes into the picture. There are three entities involved in this meeting: product owner, the development team, and the scrum master. This meeting is time boxed and it should not exceed more than 2 hours in case sprint duration is 2 weeks. Here in my product development, I conduct this meeting weekly, and that's usually on Thursday. Here we can see huge iceberg of the product backlog, and that is spread across the multiple releases or the product roadmap. If we can see here, these product items are really big chunks because they are estimated at very higher level and they're just provided with ballpark estimates. And in Agile, we follow progressive elaboration. So once we move through the releases, these user stories or the product backlog items are moved to the release cycles and they are placed into the release backlog. Release backlog is a subset of product backlog and intended for current release. Further ahead, release backlog is moved to the sprint backlog, and these user stories or requirement are selected by the development team and built into the product during the sprint. Hence, these user story defined in the product roadmap or vision broken down into the releases, and then they are further selected and broken down to the granular level in sprint or iterations. Now, we will quickly check where product refinement or grooming session is performed and how it plays a vital role. As defined in slide, this is the refinement process. This is a product backlog, list of all the items from the top to the bottom with their priority listed here. So, what is performed in refinement session? Detailed requirements analysis of the existing user story is performed. As we can see, here are the list of user stories which are high value and top of the list. So development team come together and discuss about this user story. And if these user story are bigger in size and they are not able to fit into the single iteration cycle, then they are further broken down into the multiple user stories. Development team again estimate, prioritize these broken user stories, and product owner make sure that the high value user story or the requirements again ranked at the top of the list, and low value items are listed here or somewhere bottom of the list. So development team make sure that appropriate sizing is provided to the user story. All the gray areas with respect to the requirements are discussed. Development team try asking as many as questions. Try asking as many as questions to the product owner to understand more about user story. Then, if there are any customer requirements that to be built into the product with a high priority, then it's product owner's responsibility to add these user story here or somewhere here in a product backlog. And these user stories are discussed with the team. Team shares the sizing estimates with respect to the user story, and if user story have a small sizing such as 2 to 3 story points, then product owner put that user story somewhere here at the top of the list, so that user story will be immediately consumed in an upcoming sprint and delivered to the customer. If that user story sizing is like 8, 13 or 20 story points, then definitely it would be at low priority and listed somewhere here. And once the top priority user story are finished, development team will look into these user stories. Then development team discuss about the existing user stories that to be selected for the upcoming sprint. Development team make sure that they understand the essence of user story, the product backlog item, if there are any dependencies or resource requirement. As per their analysis, they provide the estimates, and depending on the estimates, product owner rank these user story into the backlog. So existing user stories are now more refined. The fourth activity performed in this session is removal of absolute user stories, or the user story have very less value or they are not going to be a part of product development. So if there are any user story listed here, they have been here for quite long time, for multiple releases, and there are no chances in a coming future for these user stories to be built into the product, then product owner take a call and remove all these user story or the product backlog items out of the list. That way, product owner makes sure that product backlog is manageable and within a control. So, once this activity is performed, what are the benefits Scrum team is going to get? Once the list is prepared with a high value and top priority action items or the product backlog items here, now customer will always get a high value out of the product, because always These user story or items will be picked up for the upcoming sprints and delivered to the customer by the end of the sprint. Once these items are listed here, development team have very good clarity, good understanding about the action items, and these items are well estimated and sized. So that leads to the less burden during sprint planning meeting. As development team is aware of the items listed in the product backlog, that leads to the less confusion and more confidence into the development team, as they are quite aware of what work is they are going to accomplish by the end of the sprint. By analyzing and updating the product backlog, product owner trying to maximize return on investment, that is ROI, because variance between the customers or the stakeholders expectation and the product delivery is reduced or minimal, so it significantly lead to the high value to the customer. So these are the main benefits of the product grooming or refinement session, and I insist it has to be performed at least every week, or not possible in then bi-weekly, but certainly it has a great benefits out of it. So we all should perform this activity in a sprint cycle. So that's it about product backlog grooming. Thank you.